Hello, everyone. Welcome to Neelix's Kitchen. I am your host, NB Geek, and I'm going to talk about my thoughts on The Tomorrow War. Just recently dropped on Amazon, and I must say, for a time travel movie, quite fun, quite entertaining. I found the storyline very well flowing, found the actors to be believable, enjoyable, found the writing to be decent, found the storyline to have a pretty cohesive arc without crazy mixed up crazy plot holes or some crazy revelation that is out of the blue. Yeah, it actually was pretty cohesive. So first, give a little bit about the movie in a non-spoiler. Then I'm going to go into a little bit of spoiler sections because I do want to talk about some of these things. But most of what I'm about to say here are going to be non-spoilers. So the movie starts around December of 2022. So it's December time, Christmas time. Turns out the World Cup's going on, which I did actually look up is when the World Cup is going on. So hey, kudos to them for getting that right. You have Chris Pratt's character. He's a former Army Ranger. He's now got a degree in science. He teaches chemistry at his school, but he's trying to get something more. He wants to get a more prestigious science job. Unfortunately, due to the fact that he doesn't have any private sector experience, he gets passed over. He's upset about this. Obviously, he was really going for this to be his big break. Goes inside, kind of takes it down. It's Christmas time. There's party going on, watching the World Cup stuff. And his daughter's being there, supportive, kind of talking to him, like a grown up would. And, it's one of those times where your kids are saying something to you and he's like, aren't I supposed to be the one saying that? Him and his wife, they seem to be very smart together. They have looks like a very good, loving relationship. And they're watching the World Cup, and he's looking at how these guys are the best in the world. And then the frickin' tunnel opens up into time travel, and at first you think this is the invasion. This is what the movie's going to be. It turns out, no, these are humans from the future. So, story goes on. They're asking for help. You have these creatures called the White Spikes. They are just ravaging. They're like locusts. They just go, they consume, and that's it. It's there's no rhyme or reason to these things, why they're doing it. They just do it because they can. And they're very hard to kill. Apparently, there's only a few vulnerable spots on them that regular ammo can take. And unfortunately, with the fact that most of the humanity's been destroyed in a very short amount of time, in a very short amount of a few years, it's not surprising they've had a hard time to work on R&D. The world military tries to go through, but only a certain percentage of them are qualified. So they start instituting a worldwide civilian draft. Your tour is you go for 7 days, then you come back. Unfortunately, only about 20% of the people who go through come back. Chris Pratt's character is eventually drafted. They're sent in the future. Before he gets there, though, they start to deduce something with another character he's with. And they deduce that in order to not create a paradox, everybody who is being recruited has already died at some point in the future. And all the kids that are training them haven't been born yet. So kind of an interesting way to avoid a paradox, but it's actually not unsmart, because the way this time travel works is they can only come back in time to that certain point. But as time moves forward on their time and our time moves forward, that's how it works. So when you're in the future for 7 days, you come back at 7 days later, if you come back. Unfortunately, as you see in the beginning of the movie, the jump does not go the way they want. A lot of people get killed. The White Spikes, we get a good view of how vicious they are, and just ravishing little suckers. I thought the CGI was decent. I could have been better. Could have been better in certain areas, definitely. And they eventually, Chris Pratt and a few others escape. They get to the main location where they need to be. He realizes that the colonel he's talking to is his grown-up daughter. Obviously, things are very different from what she remembers to what he knows. And of course, there's going to be that revelation, like something happened that he doesn't know about that happened in the future. And they have to work out this formula. What they're trying to do is they found one surefire way, this poison toxin that can kill the spikes. The problem is the females, which are very rare, are still resilient to it. So they're trying to build a toxin that can kill the females too. Because you figure the females are probably, we don't really know how they breed, but it's obvious that they can breed a lot very quickly due to the number of size of just how many are around. They get the toxin figured out, obviously. Sorry, spoiler there. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and skip the spoiler first. Then they have to still wait because now shit's hitting the fan and he's got to get back in time, but he's got to wait. I mean, he can only go back automated. He gets back, and then this is where everything is kind of like, is hope lost? Did we really lose? What's going to happen here? And there's a real emotional toll on that part because you're not really sure if this is going to be the end or not. Him and his wife kind of co-talk about something. They figure out a big piece of the puzzle and why nobody saw these aliens land. Pratt has to go make peace with his estranged father, who, I'm going to be honest with you, J.K. Simmons just eats up every damn scene he's in. The third act was very well done. I'm not going to give away too much of that, but I thought it was very intelligent how they did this movie, how they did the time travel, the explanation. Seemed to really be one of the more enjoyable movies that seemed to just go well, be cohesive. Something that's been sorely lacking in Hollywood. There's a few points in there where there is foreshadowing. Keep an eye out on the kid with who talks about volcanoes, because trust me, that's going to come back later. But overall, fun movie. I enjoyed it. I think it's worth a shot if you want to watch it on Amazon. And with that, these are my thoughts on Tomorrow's War in under 9 minutes. Peace and long life.